The life of the woman that you were pushed into the water, you had been bound up, wrapped up with all the pressures that you felt like you couldn't even move. It had encased you in this, like if somebody poured liquid silver over you and then it congealed, so it formed and you couldn't move. And you also had the chains on your wrists and you couldn't swim. In the life when you were pushed into the water, you had on layers of clothing, how women did. This was back probably the 1800s also. Like a long dress to your ankles, boots, and it was so heavy it weighed you down. And so your spirit just stayed around for a while and you were so mad. So in the vision, the links came off of you and you started to expand and you could breathe, and I was helping you leave that space. And we did a soul retrieval, and the part of you that needed to go up to heaven for your life review and cross over, that happened. Welcome to the Spirit and Soul Healing Podcast, where we speak about all things related to spirituality, soul level healing, intuitive guidance, frequencies, and much more. I'm Amy Sikarskie, licensed vocational nurse, past life hypnotherapist, master intuitive energy healer, and a clairvoyant physical channel. Today's episode is brought to you in part by Spirit School Online, where we offer courses in energy therapy, free guided meditations, courses and information around learning to connect in with your spirit guides, and much more. You can find me at amysikarskie.com and offerings at spiritschoolonline.com. Hi everyone, this is Amy. Welcome to the Spirit and Soul Healing Podcast. I'm really happy to invite April onto our show today for an energy therapy session. So welcome, April, and thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. Super excited.
Welcome. Yes, I am too. So we were visiting and all of the happy sparkles were coming around. I could feel it. And then it was like, okay, ladies, it's time to get started. So I feel this really pretty grounded energy come in. And it's interesting. We were talking a little bit about nature and spaces in the world. And that's what I'm actually seeing right now is a big, tall tree. It feels like a redwood tree almost to me in that it's so big and beautiful. And this energy is coming in right now of grounding and nature. It's a warm, soothing frequency. And I am hearing the word Mother Earth. And I'm also sensing the awareness of the new earth energy. And in that experience, we'll be returning, is the word I'm hearing, returning back to the way in which it was when mankind was more in sync and connected to the natural rhythm of Earth and, that circadian rhythm. And also I'm seeing communicating and living one on like living as companions with even, they're showing me insects and the animals and the flowers. So there's something really stabilizing and important here about the energy of the earth, and it's here to support you in our session today. I am getting this vibration right now about past lives, and I feel like you've had a strong connection living on the land. And it feels like today that some past life energy will come through for healing. I see you right away as a man, and you have red hair, and it reminds me of maybe a Viking, and you have on your outfit like you're at battle, but then I also quick see a flash of an outfit where you're living your day-to-day life, and your favorite thing was to be on the land and to be in these hills where you could look out really far. The vision is that in that life, you did die on the land, and that was your dream and your request. You were just so connected to Earth that was your number one experience. In that life, you kind of had a small community that you stayed in contact with on a really personal way. So you had your family. There was about 3 of you, 3 others, so 4 total. And in that lifetime, you didn't really communicate a lot with the larger community, only if you needed to. Your favorite thing was just to go hiking, and it's like this moving meditation where you're sitting out in nature and you're on the land. And I see you there right now. It's like the timelines have merged, and I see you there right now. And you did a lot of meditating where you would contemplate about life. And it's like in your heart, you could feel this connection through timelines, and you would start to have this awareness and think about other life experiences, the future and the past, and what is it like outside of that human body, when that life ends. But there weren't many people you could talk to about this. Like, even some of the wording wasn't there, but you had that knowing in your heart. So I'm getting this message that you are connected to all aspects of yourself right now. And this is a part of you coming through as this soul healing reminder. When life gets challenging and stressful and we're just zipping through the day, all of this current reality, that breath that you could take, and it's almost like you take this breath and you feel that moment of that life when you were out in nature, and it was so expansive. There were no demands on you. You could just flow with what was needed that day. I mean, really, you could just do anything as long as you ate and you had shelter if you needed to. So there's a part of your soul, I'm hearing a soul calling, like you're calling this energy. It's weaving through time to come back, and it's reminding you of this other time and space when you were in another part of the world, so connected to nature. How does that all feel? Do you have any thoughts or questions?
Lots of resonation. I mean, just it's even though it's a male, my male version. It I can feel that now. A lot of that now in my life, just a lot of reflection and just being outside and all that. I have, wondered about different lives and really tried to connect with Mother Earth. And so a lot of it's a little bit of parallelism right now. The way you're talking, I'm like, oh, are we talking about me right now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think that is part of it, is that person that you were in that life, in the scene that I'm seeing, was going through the same thing that you are now. And so you're having this conversation across timelines, and it's a conversation. I'm calling it a conversation, but it's an interaction, a connection of your own energy from the heart space. So it might even feel more intense, that there's more energy behind it because you're feeling it in multiple realities. And this is only just the first one that they were showing. The next message is, I see you. And I've had a life like this too, by the way, and I was shocked. But I see you as an insect in the trees. So you have this experience where even when you're not human, when you're not in the body, you would come in and you would live within the elemental aspect, that elemental frequency, but yet very aware of the human world. And so what I'm seeing is like you're this insect in the tree, and you can touch the tree and you're climbing on it and you feel it, but you're in this whole dimension. And as you look out, you can see the humans moving by. You can see the animals. The animals are closer to your energy and reality, but the humans are kind of like as if they're behind 5 layers of plexiglass. It's like you can see them, but there's really no interaction. They're there, but they're not going to bother you. And if you were to be in harm's way, then of course you would get the message and you'd skedaddle, you'd run off. But the message here is that you're very connected to Earth, and it's almost like you're here for her success. You're here to help just hold your light, and it's a symbiotic relationship. She's giving you love and you're giving her love, no matter what lifetime or body type you're in, or even if you're not in a body. And so this message is that you have that deep, deep connection, and you have this, I'm hearing the words trust, and recognize the value in this earth life reality. So my guides call it a platform. This realm and the dimensions, there's multiple dimensions here, but it's everything that's created, and you can see the beauty throughout all the different perspectives and life frequencies. So the energy that an animal has, or a bug or a flower would have, is a different kind of reality. They overlap, but it's a different way of looking at Earth than we do as human. So here, when you spend time in the forest or out at the beach, when you're in nature, it's where I can see these little lights in your energy field light up and they glow. And you can talk to the animals and the bugs and the trees. Energetically, you are one of the rare ones that these, let's just call it a cricket, this little cricket would see, and they would see you lighting up, and it would feel protected and safe and comfortable versus just ignoring the other images. Other people walking by just look like shadow figures to it, but they can see the light and the glow that you have, so you can communicate. And in this experience, one might say, well, what does that mean? Like, what am I supposed to do? And it's not really where you have to do anything. You're holding a frequency to let nature know that it's not lost or forgotten. It's like, we feel you. I'm here. I'm still protecting you in this body. And so it's a really beautiful experience. In fact, I would not be surprised. Maybe this already happened, but I would not be surprised if it happens coming up like the next few weeks when you're out, that you have bugs just land on you, like coming to say hi because they recognize you. Yeah.
It's when I'm out in my gardens, the bird, there's some crows. They don't, they kind of do, they're kind of over there in the summer, but when I go out, they'll come up in this tree over here, and man, they just caw and caw. And I'm like, okay, you guys. Finally I started saying, oh, I see you, I hear you, is it me? And then they'll fly off once I go inside. And I was, okay, maybe that's my spirit animal. I don't know. But it's interesting how over the years I've started noticing little things like that, that I can, that will come around. And I have I have a lot of bugs in my garden. Some of them I'm not so appreciative because they like my food. So like, please go.
Yeah, that's funny. I know it's like, please no. That's amazing and so beautiful. Yeah, that's really beautiful because it's just sharing that they recognize you and they wanted to come say hi, and you're so in tune with nature, and they can see it. They can feel that. So it's a beautiful reality that you're a part of, because it's the energy that you've carried through. It's who you are. And not everyone has paid attention, I'm hearing, or opened themselves to that connection or that knowing. They could be more connected, but they're focused on other things in life, and their focus pulls them into a different vibration. So nature is important to you, and you're important to nature from lifetime to lifetime to lifetime. Yeah, so I'm just looking because I see this one life where you did die, and I feel like, well, the vision I'm getting is that you were injured, but you were kind of at peace because you already understood the cycle of life. This is the one that I saw at the beginning, the man with the red hair. You already saw the cycle of life, and so you're like, well, I'll just lay down here and give myself back to earth, and you weren't upset or worried about it at all. So your soul has had a continuation of a deeper knowing in soul level reality, spirit reality, and what that means. So in this life, I'm seeing the present day experiences, and you are a embodied walking being who shares this frequency of love around you. They show me a moss carpet floor. Like, it's just in the forest. You offer a warm hug to others like a felt blanket, but of course they're showing it to me like a mossy carpet in the forest, and you provide shelter and protection and comfort. So the one thing that is a strong gift that you have to others is that when they find that they're kind of having a breakdown or at their wits' end, exceptionally stressed out about the pressures and demands of this human reality that we've created, you're able to say, let me bring you to a space where there's peace and shelter. And it's just by being in your energy field. So you'll find that people will come to you for comfort, or they might say, I just feel really good when I'm around you. It's the energy that you share that is a deep, deep healing. And right now, I'm just feeling that deeper connection to Mother Earth. I just felt it come through. So there's something here. Let me take a look and see. Yeah, so you're very grounded, and your energy goes down your legs, out your feet like a branch, and you have such an expansive connection to Earth. It's really fascinating. I see as if your energy was a branch moving out in all different ways. You're going more towards the new Earth energy. So you're helping a bridge. You haven't left behind anybody that's still in transition, and we will be in transition for quite some time. So you're holding that bridge, and you're reminding others about how this whole experience could be more heart-based, more nature-based, less stress, more flow, going with cycles and rhythms. And it's a beautiful offering I'm hearing that you're giving to this space and time. So it's really pretty. Do you have any questions about any of these messages?
No, they're beautiful. No, no.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. So let me do a scan of your energy field and let's see what advice or areas they would like us to look at. And as I'm doing so, I just jumped right on in to our session without really saying who was here. So, nature is here, Mother Earth is here, your soul is here. That's where that energy and information was coming from. And then your guides and my guides are around. So we set the space at the beginning. And as far as the archangels that work with you, they stand really high above like this light that protects you, and you can communicate with them at any time, anytime. Archangels Metatриel, Raguel, and Jeremiel are probably the most that are interacting with you right now, and they're helping you flow through transitions, flow through. It's a time of space where there's energy that's kind of fluid, where nothing's set in stone, and you can see how things play out, make decisions as you go along. Metatриel is really strong. I feel this angel to be female in quality, so really strong, like a best friend or sister or mother. And she often looks through time. I see her always kind of going into the future and bringing options and opportunities and ideas back. So she's helping you when you daydream about the future or your options. I feel like she's around, and if you want clarification and you're using your intuition to tune in a bit more, you could ask to connect with her and ask her to help you to, just say, hey, if we made this decision, what does that look like? And then see, what visions come to you. And also you can clairsentiently feel it in your heart. How does that feel to you? Does it fill you with more light? Do you find peace and joy? And that sort of an approach. And Archangel Raguel is providing this stability in the heavens, he's saying. It's like this frequency that's helping you stay very stable, where there's a best friend and you can feel the protection or the support around you. That is like the warm hug that you're getting as you share warm hugs with others here. So these energies are really amazing in that they come in and the frequencies will support you through different chapters and transitions. And that's exactly what Jeremiel does. Archangel Jeremiel helps us when we have those transitions. And often, like when I first met him or was introduced to him, was in a class, and it was all about transition from one life to the other at the end of life and your life review. But he comes in all the time when those that I'm working with are moving into a next chapter of life. So,
And that's where I'm at. As we were talking, I'm definitely in the next chapter. What's next? So
yeah.
that's amazing.
Yeah. Yep. So I love this. Yeah, they're here for you. And clairvoyantly, I'm going to do an energy scan of your aura and your chakras, see what messages come through, and if we're guided to make some specific adjustments. Okay. So, one moment here. And I'll just share with our listeners that on the audio recording, when there's long pauses, I'm going to shorten the time on the audio track, speed it up, and probably put some music over because it might take me a few minutes here. I'll just be listening in silence. I don't know if that would be enjoyable. So, okay, here I go. I'm just taking a look at your energy body. Oh, it's so pretty. You have a lot of copper and this earthy, warm, nourishing brown energy around you, almost going midline down your body for stability. And it makes so much sense because you're so connected with earth. And then I see it expanding out around you with these gorgeous greens. It's like that beautiful grassy green, the forest green, the evergreen color, emerald. So it's just this glow of all these shades of green or hues of green around you. And then beyond that, I see purple that's an amethyst purple. So, oh, it's so pretty.
I have copper on.
Oh, there we go. Yes, that's what I was seeing. So it's Earth is your vibe. So let's take a look at more of the details of your anatomy here. You're really strong. It's like your energy is going out past where typically we would have our aura goes to the edge of the fingertips, but it goes out beyond that. And you've set an additional layer around you, and it helps you function in this bubble, which is your aura, this big circle of light that's around you. And so, because you're so grounded, your energy expands even more with the earth frequency. So, this is a perfect example of living within nature's love, connecting with Mother Earth and being one with Mother Earth. Because, for example, when we do earth-based energy healing, we connect with Earth, let her energy come up and out so that it helps move energy and support. It's very similar to Reiki, but Reiki, you take the energy from your crown and you're using that clean energy. So you do this naturally. Mother Earth is protecting you, supporting you, and you will get an understanding. You will get a heads up if you are in an interaction with somebody that isn't going to be a kind interaction. You feel it straight away. And there's a way that you can buffer it out so it doesn't hurt you, like shock you to the point where you then have to take a week to recover. It's like some days we're at our best and somebody at the grocery store could give us a look and we don't even care. The other days we're like having a day and somebody gives you that same look and you're like, really? Really? And, then you kind of spiral down in your frequency. So your connection with Earth, that's what fuels you. It helps your mental and emotional health. It helps the health of your energy field. And so when something comes along, you know it, you see it, but it doesn't really affect you in such a way. Now, the caveat here is that those that are closest to you in your life and have access to you, so your closest friends and family members, they have more access. So they're not going to necessarily even be outside of that buffer zone. And therefore, they can say things that can, really, you're like, really?
Make it a little ouch, a little sting.
Yes, it gets right to you. There's not that buffer. Yeah. So that's an example of how you can shield, or actually it is what you're doing. What they are showing me for those in your life, if you're having a day where you feel sensitive and you're like, I kind of just need to be in my own space. And I know that also I'm interacting with this world and you're very aware and in tune to energy. So you can almost feel if somebody else is in a bad mood and you're like, I don't want to feel it. So they actually show that you do put a copper band around you, which is fascinating because you have one on your wrist. This is to take it a step further in visualizing around, it's inside your aura, around you like an egg, a shield around you, just a line of copper. And if someday you say, I need a little bit more, then you thicken it. But this will reflect and dissolve energies so you don't have to feel it. And it also helps you stay within like that space where the emotions might be coming up and you're processing things so that you don't then also spill that out onto others and, like take out frustration on others. So it helps you to process and stay really pure and stable with the flow and the movement of energy within yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, is this something I've developed over time or born with? Because I personally feel as though I've been, last decade more aware and putting, barriers up and doing things because I would say I'm really sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so I was like, I can't keep going like I am. And so learn to really do those things. Or is that something I'm born with and then utilizing now?
Yeah, it's where you could have done it before, but you never knew about it or had the need to. So this is when you tune in and your soul, your higher self, and then even the other aspects of you from the other lives bring that information through. So then you started to say more of a remembering, like, oh yeah, I know how I remember this. And so you're doing that. This part right now about putting the copper in your aura is a new piece of information for you. I don't really see that you've done that. So if you have, it's like it started to glow, but it never fully formed. So there's gaps within it. So now, actually, that we've talked about it, you might naturally start to do it. So I think it can happen very easily for you. Yeah.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Yeah, it's so nice to be able to just see that everything is supportive because there's a lot of movement on earth right now. And when we are really sensitive, it's like, well, I don't want to, be a hermit and not interact with people. So what are some of the tools and ways that you can govern and regulate the energy within you and between you and others to make it feel healthy and safe, safe. So we don't want to I just know myself, like it can be really shocking when I'm in my own environment and then I have this interaction I'm not even anticipating. And usually it's when I'm in my home. So a phone call or a text come through, something like that. It's like, whoa, wait a minute. My boundaries were not up. I was wide open. I was relaxed in my space. So it's just a way in which you can say, okay, well, I'm going to prepare for the day in case something comes along, and it'll feel really natural and beautiful to you to put that extra copper light. And again, this sits within your aura, so your energy field goes out pretty far, probably like 12 feet, so around you. And this would be about 18 inches to 24 inches off of your physical body is where you would kind of put that copper light. And yeah, so just as an understanding of where it would be. Okay, so let's see what else is coming through for us. Today we can clear some energy around your throat. There's a little bit that wraps even at your mouth. I feel like we're going to be clearing energy there. Around your throat, there's a circle of energy that's like a ribbon kind of wrapping in more of a vertical way. So up and down at the chakra because the chakra goes out horizontally. So it's wrapping around your chakra and we'll pull that out and clear that out. I also see energy around your neck like a scarf that then goes horizontal like this. So I'm going to work at both. Some of it is from past life, but some of it is definitely from this life. And this energy is related to a mother figure, and the way or the emotions that it brings through in you is insecurities. So you kind of know if it's something you're recognizing in this life or it strictly comes from the past. But what's interesting is we will have experiences from other lifetimes that maybe we didn't fully heal from. And so we still feel that initial response and the emotion, even in this life, even if it's a different person playing that role. So maybe, your mother in this life is a completely different soul than who was the mother in the life that caused the problems. But there's a part of you sometimes that gets extra sensitive and you might feel a certain way. Now, Archangel Jeremiel is talking about another way of it, and that is when the mother in this life actually does do the similar things, has a very similar vibration, will say similar things and brings it up. So when we clear that today, I feel like you're going to notice a softening around feeling that you're being, the energy is like that critical energy where a mother might be nagging at us, and she may or may not be in this life. It's just the energy. And sometimes subconsciously, you might feel it in your head like, gosh, I'm going to do this, but who's watching over me? And am I approved to do this? It's just that feeling of wanting a little bit more freedom to speak your truth and go about your day without feeling like, oh, I'm going to get in trouble, or I'm going to have to field a lot of questions and a lot of unsolicited opinions, And so it's kind of that energy. And so again, like, I don't know if it really relates to your particular mother in this life, but that's what I'm seeing is it stemmed in the past from, it was the 1800s, and women were supposed to be a certain way and do things a certain way, this energy. And it was always like, mind your manners, women aren't supposed to talk right now. It was just nitpicking everything that you did to fit into the societal mold of who you should be. And that really wore you down because you're a free spirit. You're like, I am a free spirit. Let me fly and soar with the eagles, Don't try and pin me down and put me in a box. And that life just grated on you. And so some of it had not been healed. So,
Yeah, that speaks a lot. There's a lot of reflection to this life too. So it speaks a lot.
okay. Yeah. So we'll clear that out. You'll notice a shift.
Oh, that'd be beautiful. That'd be wonderful.
Yeah, yeah. Oh gosh, I'm just so excited for you because I know personally when past life stuff clears, I was like, I was carrying that my whole life, and now I feel different. So it'll help you. There's something else that I'm seeing. I think you were a male, and you got pushed or something physical hurt you in the front of your chest. I'm actually feeling there's multiple lives. One, it feels like you got crushed at the end of the life. One, it's like you got stabbed or punched, kind of like an uppercut, but in under the ribs. And then there's energy around your throat and mouth. So these are from more violent endings, the energy in the past that didn't clear. And so you've been kind of carrying that with you out in your quantum field. You may or may not even notice it or feel it, but we're going to help heal that. The way that it looks like is an open wound that's not healed. So we're going to work with that today. And then there was another vision where you were a female and you were pushed from behind, and that's at the back. And you were pushed forward, and that was the end of that life. You were pushed off of a dock, not a wooden, so off of like a seawall. It's rocky or concrete, and you were pushed into the water. And I don't think you knew how to swim. So, and also it was like at nighttime, it was dark. Yeah. So I feel like the person knew you and meant to kill you. So there's some trauma there that's in the quantum field. We will go in through time and space and heal the part of you that was in shock and didn't understand what happened or why they had perished. And then what happens for you at a soul level is you receive relief. The signature, that unsettling vibration that's in the quantum field, is healed. And then any aspects of you that were linked to those moments of time would be returned to you. So as a soul retrieval, you'll start to feel more of yourself, and that this energy comes in, and so you'll feel stronger and more put together is a good way of saying.
Yay.
Yeah. So we'll go ahead and relax and get in a comfortable way, and we'll take our time to tune in and let these adjustments of energy come in and work with you. And then I'll just share with you updates as we go along, so you'll have a knowing. Okay. All right. And here we go. Okay, so I've cleared and healed quite a few things, different aspects of different lives that we spoke about, and I'll review those more in detail in a moment. But right now, there's a beautiful frequency of light coming in. So we're charging your energy field up with this healing vibration. It's actually really pretty. It's like kind of like the color of my shirt, a salmon, and then a pink and brown. So like coppery sandstone and brown energy. So to me, it's love and it's nature frequencies. It's coming in around your energy field, kind of wrapping around and then vertically coating your aura. So it feels like it's gently like how you would hold a baby and lull it, and pat it. That's how the energy is coming to you. It's like gently holding you and calming your nervous system and soothing these pieces of you from those other lifetimes. There was actually quite a bit of anger that came up from the one where where you were pushed into the water. You were so mad because you didn't get to speak or say anything. It was like taken by surprise and done. So there's a lot of anger coming to release, and we're working to heal that right now. And you might still feel it over the next few days, So if you feel emotion come up, just honor it. There's going to be a grieving process. You might feel that you're like, crying or sad, like you're grieving. And had we not had this conversation, you probably wouldn't have known what it was about, So that's what it's about. But right now we're working to heal your aura, heal your energy. Again, it's like out in the quantum field, so it's through time and space, but it still affects us now. So, yeah. You loved roses in that life. Like you loved flowers. I could cry. So, what the you would love from that life is if you bought flowers for yourself. Like, surround yourself with roses, bring them in, and carnations too. But, or they're more like, they're a different type of rose, maybe like a tea, I don't know, like the English tea garden kind of roses. So the kind that we can get here in the US, from the florist, but then there's other ones that have petals that are a little bit closer. Okay, I'm gonna have to find a picture and send it to you what I'm seeing. But roses, flowers, and that will be so healing to you. It's just going to help you give yourself the love that you did not receive in that life. Yeah. It was a pretty intense life. So we'll work with it, and then I'll share more here in a moment. You're going to get a lot of strength back. There was a lot of things you wanted to say that you didn't have a chance to say. And it's basically setting your boundaries and speaking up for yourself. And so as this energy is healing, I'm hearing, all these messages. I'm feeling it where like you are finally able to be heard. And so I feel like in this life, you're going to start to notice that you feel stronger and more confident, like you have the permission and nothing's holding you back from speaking. So to that, you're probably going to be stronger in your delivery. So just be aware for people in your life. They might feel like you came across really harsh or like, whoa, where'd that come from? So it's the energy from the past finally being able to speak. And so to that, if you even speak your emotions and thoughts out when it's just like you around, just let the anger, let the energy come through. It's going to be very empowering for you. Yeah. Let me see what else we're feeling here. I'm watching the energy settle. You're so cute, your energy. So the female that you, so the life of the girl that was pushed into the water, this is the part where you're really getting your strength back. And I saw that energy return to you in a healed way. And she like spun, like doing a dance, like a spin, and then popped out of your throat chakra and was like, rah, but funny, like playful, like, ha, look, I'm here. Ha, I've got my strength back. I can speak. So she had a lot of energy from that life that was deposited and bound up around her, where she felt like she was in a pressure cooker that whole life. And then at the end, she was killed, and she was so mad. Like, this is you, of course, but you were so mad in that life because you're like, are you freaking kidding me? I went through all of this suffering. I couldn't speak, and for what? Now I just died. I didn't even like you just felt like it was all for nothing. That you were trapped or kind of like enslaved or a victim within the societal programming and all this pressure that was put on you. And then somebody just came and like pushed you into the water, and you were like, why was I even here? What was that life for? So I think you'll get a lot of emotions, and things are going to start to play out in this life as you move forward, where you'll start to release that programming. And the way that I've experienced it in myself is kind of like I always would feel a certain way around certain situations. And now I don't anymore. So I think you'll notice that switching within yourself, that maybe things are a little bit more fluid and clear, free in the energy. It doesn't feel sticky, and it doesn't shock you, like take you back. Some things that people will say or do, because it's starting to heal. I mean, it was in that life so personal to you that sometimes in this life, if things would happen, you would almost feel it personal if it was even happening to somebody else.
Yeah, I believe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true. I people that bully or people, something flips if I see somebody bully.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, whoa, who?
Yeah.
I got so mad. Like, what is going on? Yeah.
Yeah. Of course, it's like that should not happen, but there's more energy from it because that in a form happened to you and you had no say over it. When I was working, okay, so let me flow back. So much happened. It was so beautiful. First of all, like, how do you feel? How are you feeling?
Uh, almost like I could cry. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's yeah, very. I'm very hot. All of a sudden, if I'm just hot and like I could cry, and I'm trying not to cry. So
Okay. So, no, it's definitely appropriate for what we experience. So, cry if you would love to, and I'll share with everyone and you, of course, what I saw here. So, as we went into the quantum field, we went right back to the man that you were at the very beginning, and you had died on the land. And I was kind of surprised. I guess I hadn't read that far into it until we were in the work. But you went as you, with your beautiful blonde hair here, the female version, who you are in this life, went to him. His soul, like your spirit was still there, right? So I think I might be using that incorrectly, but your spirit was there. So you had hung out on the land for quite some time, and you recognized it's like you went to the man that you were as the human you are right now as a female through time, and he saw you and you were like, come on, like, let me show you. And so you started to show him, take him on an astral journey and show him some of the other lifetimes and why you needed him. He had just stayed there. This was a full-on soul retrieval. He had stayed there. This part of you had stayed there with the land. You just wanted to be in nature. And you almost didn't even realize that you were needed in the other lifetimes. That strength that you were, like, you were really strong. And you were really, let's see, how's a good word of it? You were really balanced in your emotional mental state. So you were able to see things and not overreact and really take the time to process what's going on. So you're like, no, we need you. So I saw the two of you, and you went to the life of the girl. We started removing energy off of your throat, where you were being told like you have to do this and this and this just perfectly. That nitpicking from the females in your life in that reality. And then it flashed to the female that was pushed in the water. And this is where things got interesting. So all the energy was coming through, and I could feel it moving what it needed to move through time and space for this healing to help release you from the land. And really, the land wasn't holding on to you, it was just guiding you to come back into more of the place of who you are when you are actually in a body, to really be there for you through lifetimes to help. So that was all happening. And I saw this figure really tall. I'm still trying to understand exactly what it meant, but it was like all of a platinum or a silver frequency, metal, so metallic, but it looked like a mummy, kind of like a casket almost, or a figurine. It was just completely coating. And then it had its arms at the wrist, had chains around it. It was linked with cuffs. And so I was like, oh my gosh. Oh, now I know what it was. Okay, so it was the life of the woman that you were pushed into the water. You had been bound up, wrapped up with all the pressures that you felt like you couldn't even move. It had encased you in this, like if somebody poured liquid silver over you and then it congealed, so it formed and you couldn't move. And you also had the chains on your wrists and you couldn't swim. In the life when you were pushed into the water, you had on layers of clothing, how women did. This was back probably the 1800s also. Like a long dress to your ankles, boots, and it was so heavy it weighed you down. And so your spirit just stayed around for a while and you were so mad. So in the vision, the links came off of you and you started to expand and you could breathe. And I was helping you leave that space. And we did a soul retrieval, and the part of you that needed to go up to heaven for your life review and cross over, that happened. And then the part of you that's ready to come into the being that you are now, that is still integrating. You're still pulling her in, but she's happy. She did that dance and was joking around with me. So, so it's really sweet. But you used every cuss word that's out there. You were so mad. I was like, more power to you. Yes, like let it out. You couldn't speak. You were holding all this emotion in. It felt, I don't want to use the word victim, but it felt like you were just being molded. And that's what, okay, so that's what it's like, a mold. You were just being molded. You couldn't even breathe or move, and you had no freedom in that life. And then to have it cut off so quickly just made you so furious. You're like, are you kidding? So that whole life, you felt like everything was outside of your control. And now there's this sense of relief and expansion, and all the emotions that were in there are going to be flooding out. I mean, we helped to clear and release some of it. And the life review that you're having in parallel, like right now, I'm sure you know how time works. It's very interesting, but she's going through the life review, but you're going to feel energy within you in this body also release of emotion. And it's going to feel very cathartic, and then it's also going to feel very expansive, and you'll have moments of sadness and then anger and then joy and elation. So probably for 2 weeks, let your family know. Yeah. Yeah, that roller coaster of energy, of emotion coming through. But it's all going to be amazing. And when you were sharing, you felt a lot of heat. That was probably when your energy was returning to you. And then also the other energy they brought in to stabilize and help support you. It reminds me of we just healed some wounds. And so they placed some energy around it for protection while it's healing. So it's very soothing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Wow. It's a lot. By any chance, would this life have, let's say, the person who pushed me at some point been in my life now?
Oh. Oh my gosh, this is a heavy conversation. Let's see. It could be. We could be going somewhere. Okay, let me tune in for you. Okay, one moment. So in that life, he was a brother, but he was older than you, and he felt like he owned you, almost in like an inappropriate way. Like even like he owned like your sexuality too. So if he was gonna sell you to another man, like he owned you in every distorted way. Let me see in this life. I'm just kind of feeling through timelines. I haven't found the energy yet, but I will say that one of your sons, hold on one second, in this life was in that life with you, but in a nice way. Okay, so for privacy and all of that, just say to me, just say to me like A or B, or maybe the initials of one of your sons.
CL.
Okay, and then the initial of the other one.
AM.
Okay, one sec. This one, the first one that you said was in that life with you. So he knew you in that life. Okay, and then like a friend of the family is how it was not involved in anything that, was gross. It was good. It was good. Okay, so let me see about the person that pushed you. There's I'm getting the message, no, you don't know them in this life. However, there are people that were like in the community that were here, that are part of your life. They were in the community. They didn't understand the depth of what was happening or how you were suffering. When you didn't have a lot of interaction, but you knew each other. So, yeah. Did you have a feeling that it was somebody? Did you?
I just kind of wonder with my ex-husband if there was, he's just kind of interesting person, maybe that.
Oh, so it feels like there's definitely like this energy of the guys that kind of felt like a fraternity. Let me ask specifically about him. I just need his initials. That's all.
HL.
Okay, one moment. He was in that life, but he was old, like the grandfather of the group of, I don't even want to call him friends, but the people that were your age, your peers. He was like a grandfather. And so they say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, is what they said. So he kind of condoned that behavior. The boys could do whatever they wanted, like the guys, they had money and no one to check them. It's like they just did whatever. So it was really shady. And he didn't care. He would be okay with what happened, basically. So, yeah. So getting your power back is going to help heal even some of that energy in this life, because it was like all that pressure put on you. So so the brother in that life was very controlling and acted as if he owned you. And by the way, I want to share, like when you died, I feel that you were in your early 20s, probably. Yeah. So you were a young woman, you were an adult. And he, for whatever reason, he thought so much that you were property. And for whatever reason, it was like, well, you're not worth anything to him anymore. I don't know. Maybe you were past the age to marry off or something. He just was like, you're a nuisance, you're a burden. And he shoved you in and he didn't care. So it was just like so callous. But so then the men were all in their 20s that like he kind of hung out with. And let me see. Yeah, so it was just like all of that energy is going to start to heal. But again, your former husband in this life, he was like a grandfather to one of the boy or two of the boys that were a part of that group. So it was all, like you knew each other in a roundabout kind of way. You knew who that person was anyhow. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's so interesting. Yes.
I'm excited though I can see in this life where as you talk and say things or how I've reacted to stuff and I'm like, oh, well, okay,
Mm-hmm.
I get it.
Yeah. But it's almost like you needed to, but now there'll be more of a freedom around it where it will be empowering and clearing. And so that anger is releasing, so you won't have that so much. And it's more like the vision they show me is when somebody sees red and it's just all red and they're fired up and they know right from wrong versus, okay, I'm calm, I know right from wrong, and now I can make a calculated or like, yeah, just like not that knee jerk trigger reaction. Like you can take your time and really think it through and think about the best action steps to take, So, and also some people are really learning and they didn't mean to, they won't mean to do things in a way to harm somebody, but they didn't think it through. So the old you would like go at them with all, if you were able to, the anger that was built up in the female of you who died, she would have lashed out like with fire, like, what do you think you're doing? You're hurting somebody, and then that would traumatize everybody. But the healed you would be like, okay, hold on now, stop, look, what's happening here? And it's more of a teachable moment than perpetuating more trauma. So you're going to start to feel that you're again more in control and things are calm, but it's not that you're going to excuse anything. Like you still see the right from wrong. It's just you're going to feel like, oh, I can actually help out in a better way now. So, yeah, it's a beautiful opportunity for you here.
It really is, actually. It really is. It's so interesting because I've always said the two things that can trigger me are bullies and just excess garbage. I mean, I'll go on walks and pick up garbage.
Yeah.
So you're talking about these two things, the earth, and then, basically a huge bully who killed me. And just, it's so interesting how it has trickled into this life and, and how it's been a huge part of me, whether I, I obviously didn't know. So I'm excited to see what happens now. So
Yeah. So just feel the emotions as it comes up, maybe journal. And your guides are saying that music is going to help you. Like there'll be some songs that you just find that have lyrics that help you really, like you really resonate with the lyrics. And so singing it and helping to move energy through and integrate the soul retrieval energy too. It's like, okay, that person of you in that life that couldn't speak or have any freedom. Oh, this is the other vision I saw. I forgot, so I'm glad they're reminding me. The first one where the mother energy was kind of nitpicking at you and telling you how to be. You were like, I just want to fly like a bird. And I saw you had all these visions in that life. You're like, and this is so funny, but you're like, I want to be a pirate. You just wanted to be on a ship and sail and get out of there. And you're like, I don't really care. And it was like completely the opposite of what was acceptable, in society. And you're like, well, you all want me to be proper and prim and this perfect female woman. I just want to be a pirate. Like that was one of your dreams. So in this life, any sport or a dance or movement where you feel like you can just soar through the sky or the ocean or like, ski down a mountain, right?
yeah,
That will help just heal that part of you in that other life that's all you dreamt about was just escaping and having freedom. So enjoy those moments. It's very healing across time for many lives of you. Yeah.
I mean, now, like I said yesterday, I ski, and now these things, I'm going to be thinking that too. Like, this is for you. Here we go.
Yes. Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Boom. Absolutely. So enjoy it. The emotional stages of energy coming up would probably be about 2 weeks, I think they said. And then, any visions or memories or journals or daydreams that you have, write it down. So anything you get, journal it down. Yeah, that's going to be a part of your healing process too, and just kind of like of intrigue also, remembering and really starting to piece things together.
Okay. And this all cleared up?
Yeah, it did. Yeah. Yeah, that cleared up when I was releasing like that silver cast, that mold that you were stuck inside of. That when I started working at your throat and your neck, that's when that vision came. And that's what we were releasing, that energy.
So as part of that, when um, when I speak, people will actually want to listen, or I'll be heard, you think?
Is that, yeah. And so actually, I think the throat was like probably both of the lives, the female lives. Um, and so it all was clearing. What it means is you'll be able to speak now without reservation and feel like you're going to get in trouble for it. Like, should I say this? Can I say this? Second guessing yourself. You'll just be able to speak freely and there's no judgment on it. If I feel a certain way or I have a question or this thought comes through, I'm going to express it and not worry if people are going to be offended or think a certain way of me, like, oh, she shouldn't be talking like that. Women shouldn't talk like that, because women didn't have a voice. So you're going to be able to speak about anything you want to speak about and you'll just feel it inside of you. Yeah.
Not overthinking everything. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm in my head a lot. I would say I'm definitely in my head a lot. So that's wonderful.
Yeah. You'll still be able to, like analyze and discern, but it won't be like worrying about it because of other people. How will I be perceived? Can I say this? You'll just get to say what you want to say. So, yeah. So, thank you so much.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is awesome. Thank you so much for gifting this to me. This was amazing. So
You're so welcome. Yeah, you're so welcome. And thank you, everybody, for joining us here on this episode of the Spirit and Soul Healing Podcast. And we will see you all again on the next episode.